right, everyone, welcome to Launch Your Hypnosis Career Now. What's that? You had a question? Oh, okay. So in this class is very much a back and forth. I always learn something from my students. So if you have some great information you want to share, please do share. I will ask. Sometimes people speak on theory. I'd rather you not speak on theory. If you heard something or you read something, but you don't actually have actual experience with it, probably just keep it to yourself, because unless you've actually done the stuff, you're not really shouldn't be conveying that information like in a class or something. It's just, am I thinking? Sometimes people, they talk about things that they don't really know about. That wouldn't happen in here, of course. All right, so the whole meaning of this class is to help you to really get out there and start serving clients. How many hypnotherapists do we have? And then how many stage? No stage. All right, good. I smell the place up. Kidding. Any other type practitioner? Okay, great. What do you? Hypnotist. Okay, hypnotist. So you all are or want to be working one-on-one with clients or in group things. Okay, great, awesome. It doesn't really matter. The stuff that we're going to talk about is going to work either way. So that's not mine. Okay. The whole purpose of this, and the reason that I started teaching this workshop, this class, is because I went to conferences, I went to meetups, I went to NGH meetings, and I kept running into people that frankly know more about hypnosis than I do, and they're not practicing. And so I really wanted to, I'm kind of an encourager, so I wanted to kind of help people along. Sometimes it's pushing, kicking, and sometimes just the information. So whatever we need to do, we're going to do that today. Just grab my notes here. Has anybody read the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz? Highly recommend. Yeah, it's a great book. I read it actually about, 10, 20 years ago, and I didn't actually do the exercises. I remember thinking, wow, this is good stuff, but I didn't do the exercises. And I should write that down because it can be difficult. Hold on. Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz, written back in the 60s by a plastic surgeon. And what he discovered was that he'd fix people. He'd make them beautiful. They came in, they weren't beautiful. He'd make them beautiful, and their self-esteem still sucked. And he was like, what's going on here? And so he really talks about your mindset and getting that right. And for a lot of us, to be honest with you, if you just got your mindset right, that's all you really need. You can throw the rest of this stuff away. The email marketing, the social media stuff, all that. You get the right mindset, you're going to be successful no matter what. So just keep that in mind. I do have a free class, or it's like a free little mini class online that I'll tell you about in just a minute. It's called Hypnotic Confidence. So if you want to get that, please do. Watch it, use the hypnosis, or create your own, right? You can create your own hypnosis product. And the things you're going to learn in that thing they're really just a lot of stuff you already know, modeling, that kind of thing. But a lot of people, we don't put it into practice. We don't use it for ourselves. So my biggest thing that I would tell you right now is just go out there and do it. Just go. Start doing it. And the reason I bring up Maxwell Maltz is because he talks about the success mechanism. And I just started rereading the book about 6 months ago. And it's awesome. And I'm doing the exercises, and I'm seeing changes happening for myself. He talks about the success mechanism, and he talks about torpedoes. I don't know how torpedoes work today. I'm basing everything I know about torpedoes on what he wrote about in the 60s, so they may have changed. But he talks about the guided missiles. So the way they get to their target is they kind of go off course, and then they get corrected. And they go off course, and they get corrected by the feedback that they get. It goes a little bit off course, and then it goes back. He says that's how we ought to be living. So many of us are caught up in the failure trap. Oh, what if I fail? What if nobody comes to my class here at HTL? Oh, things like this. And so what he talks about is just go forward and start making some mistakes, because that's when you're going to learn the important stuff. And a lot of people, do we have any perfectionists here? Couple? I always tell my clients, you don't have to be perfect yet. Okay, because this is the big thing that gets in their way is they're like, oh, but I have to be perfect. Well, you don't have to be perfect. Yes, I do. Well, what if you could just be perfect later? Okay, think about that. You really aren't going to get perfect. If I could show you, like my first website, boy, it was awful. Just absolutely awful. My son looked at it and said, would you hire you? I was like, no, I wouldn't actually. So that's why I changed it. But I couldn't get to the place where I made the good website until I did the bad website. Okay, so you got to start somewhere. And if you look at some of my cover art from 10 years ago, oh, just awful on my MP3s. Oh, just hurts me to just even see it. So please, you've got to get out there and just start doing it. Now, does everybody have their basic training? Everybody? Good. One thing that I like to do is I like to open it up too, and you can kind of tell me if there are any specific things that you're having trouble with, blockages, difficulties, things you don't know that I could address during this class. Anybody have anything like that? Something that's getting in the way? You don't want to share? Okay. Yeah.
Well, you tapped on it with the confidence because even though I live in a small community where I know a ton of people and there are not many other hypnotherapists, sometimes that little sneaky little voice wants to come up in and tell me that I can't, when I know that I can and I am.
Mm-hmm.
So just working with, fine-tuning the forward push.
That's such a weird thing, you're having that feeling. Like, anybody else ever felt like that little voice? Nobody else? Nobody has that, right? Oh, you guys do? You have that too? All of us do. I was in Jason Linnett's class the other day, and he talked about having it. Still, sometimes it kind of crops up. Happens to me all the time. Who am I? I actually do a talk I do a talk called Why Not You? And it's all based on that idea because I kept getting these opportunities, and I was going, why me? I get invited to do a TEDx talk. Why me? And finally I said, why not me? So maybe use that as your new mantra. Why not me? Yeah. You had a question or comment?
Well, you asked what are we...
Yeah, absolutely. What's your sticking points?
I memorize Kellner. I can do it perfectly with Hypnobob.
Mm-hmm.
Put a live human being in front of me, and I can't even remember my own name.
Okay.
I get some version of a block, and I'm somebody that loves to go on stage.
Okay.
So, I just can't seem to get up and over that hurdle.
You want to...
Okay, now I understand that. My thing was that was me trying to be perfect.
Yeah.
And what I do is I just kind of like go by the seat of my pants and follow them. Now,
Yeah.
But what happened was that I received all my training in 2019, started up my business, had out all the cards, had the website, and then COVID hit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then it was like, it just shot you down, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
And it's not the end of it. So now I'm in the process of doing the Field of Dreams kind of thing. I built an office. I figure build it and they will come. And
Such a great line from a movie, but it's utter bullshit in reality.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah.
And I know, I imagine I need to retweak the website.
Yeah.
I have a partner that went with me through the whole thing.
She's over this side.
Yeah. Yes, she is.
Oh, awesome. That's great. And was there a specific question or something?
No, but it's like how to get, just to get back into it, because then, it's like you get this.
I never got out of it. I'm still doing them during COVID. A lot, yeah. So, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Does it make sense? I took training like some years ago because I was just interested in it. And then a couple of years ago, I was like, maybe I should try doing this as living. Work full time. So I started looking to it. And then what I did, I advertised myself for free, just, for practice for stuff.
Yeah.
And people tell me, oh, you're doing a good job, whatever. So I thought maybe we should pursue this as a business. But then, COVID hit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then, I actually lost my job last year. So the good part of that is I have more time to focus on this area. But the thing is, for me, the business side scares me. Being an entrepreneur and all that stuff, and trying to a business model and trying to figure out how to make money actually scares me more than the actual hypnosis practice itself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I want to come back over here because you had said that you do the element induction and you totally lose your place and you don't know. I love the element induction. It's my stage induction, the one I use for my stage stuff, and I sometimes do street hypnosis with it. It may not be the best one for you right now because it's pretty specific. You're going through a certain procedure. Now, there are memory games there's a lot of memory techniques that you could use to help you get to remember everything. Everybody familiar with Elman induction? Yeah. So it's very specific. You got to do certain things.
I have a script in my hand and a client in front of me, and I'm looking at the page and I can't see it.
Yeah, I wouldn't use. Honestly, right now I'd use progressive relaxation or something, because you can easily make that up on the fly, can't you? Talk about a relaxing place. That's what I would try until you get more comfortable, and then you may just have to, like, over and over again. You're going to have to just do that. You're going to have to, do that element. You're going to have to do it over and over and over again, just like an actor does. When you're an actor, I mean, if you went out the first time, same problem. You just keep doing it. As to you, so this gentleman, so sort of, can you rephrase the question?
Well, that's not a question, more of a comment, is how to get over become a better adept at business.
Yeah.
And that part of it, because I'm a little bit, that's where my confidence focuses a little bit, that part of it, trying advertisement, doing something where you got to get an office and do a website and paint yourself and making videos maybe and all that stuff, that's where.
No maybe. Making videos, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Starting business, basically.
Absolutely, yeah.
Basically, online.
And you know what I would like to say? Well, how many people, so the sort of the question there is, how do I, I'm already good at hypnosis, I got that part down, but how do I do the business part? How do I do all that? And I'm going to tell you right now, really, how many people went to school for business? Got one, good. You're probably the only one here at the conference. I hope you're teaching a class on business. Who took marketing? Who specializes in marketing? Okay, we got a couple of those, good. Most of us did not go to school to learn marketing and business because we didn't want to do marketing and business, right? We wanted to do hypnosis. But I got to tell you, and when I talked about this with other people, the names that you would know, they're all like, yeah, the marketing is the most important thing. The business part is the very most important thing. And so what I always ask my classes, and we're a little early for that, but I'm going to ask you to right now, I'm just going to make you a challenge to yourself. Please, 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 and don't tell the other presenters I said this, to teach techniques and protocols. Don't take another technique or protocol class until you've taken a marketing class, okay? Because that is the stuff that will make you money. And it's not about just making money, but if you have to go get a job at 7-Eleven, you can't help people with hypnotherapy, right? That makes sense. So you need to be able to make a living doing this if you really want to serve people that need what you need. Yeah? I do, actually. I do. And so some of the things that I would look at is, so she wants to know, can I recommend some specific marketing classes? Well, always, so as we're at convention, of course, I mean, I would always go to Steve G. Jones, Victoria Gallagher, Jason Linett, Richard Barker when he's here. These are some of the big players in our community. And I mean, look at this. We've got millionaire hypnotists here that we can learn from. Right? Those classes should be standing room only, frankly. They really should. Everybody should be in those classes. But I understand. I used to teach massage, and the students always wanted to learn a new technique. And that's how hypnotists are, too. Oh, if I just had that one more, if I just mastered that Elman induction, boy, then I'd be successful. Great clients will create great word of mouth, and word of mouth advertising is, of course, the best. It also takes the longest. It's also more challenging for us unless you're doing smokers, because smokers, they tell everybody about hypnosis. But you help somebody get over their depression, sometimes weight loss, you can help them with, male or female problems. They're probably not going to tell people that they got help from you. So you can't get the referrals. So what I would say for marketing, so those people at our conference, I'd also learn, if you're interested in buying ads, I would take the Google Ads class. They offer that free. Google has a bunch of free training. There's free Facebook ads training. Also, there's all these major universities, especially now since COVID hit, that are offering free classes. And I took one. It's actually the one that I finally, only 6 months ago, decided on a niche. Because how many people want to work with everybody, right? Come on, don't be shy. You know you do. I want to help, but I can't choose a niche. I want to help everybody.
I have a niche, though.
You do?
I do. I niche to make money, but then I reach out to everybody.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. But we have far too many people, and I noticed this once this clicked for me, and it took me 10 years for it to click. now I start looking at on social media, and there's this. I follow a couple people on Instagram, and like every day it's something different. I specialize in stop smoking. I specialize in stress. But it's the same person. And I'm like, you can't specialize in everything, can you? Did you have a question, comment?
Comment on
Yeah.
the marketing side, because there are a few of us here who are from the school HMI.
Yeah.
But AHA has really great presenters that do marketing for
awesome.
hypnosis, so it makes it super easy. It's
American
all-
Hypnotherapy Association?
Hypnotherapy.
AHA?
So if you become a member, you get cheaper prices, and it's like extensive.
So what I would say too is don't necessarily take marketing classes from hypnotists. Take hypnosis classes from hypnotists, right? Now we do have some standout ones, definitely. They're successful. Follow them. But you're probably going to be better off if you go and do like these university classes. And so the one that I took, I wish I could remember the name of it because I was doing all these different ones during COVID. But it was Harvard, I think. It was the Harvard one. Harvard has like a free marketing class. There's several free marketing classes. If you Google, free university classes, there's this site that comes up. I can't remember, it's called like Classtera or something like that. CLASSTRA, I think it is. And they'll direct you to a bunch of different Clastra, maybe, something like that. And they'll help you to sign up for all these different free university classes. And you can spend more if you want a certificate. You probably don't need it unless you want to do that for part of your work. Here's the thing, folks. The world needs our gifts, right? There's so much suffering in the world, and you have the opportunity. So, really, how dare you not help them? When you don't do marketing, when you're afraid to put yourself out there, when you're afraid to make a video or put out a social media post, people are missing out. That's my biggest tip for everybody as far as marketing goes. Just do something. Who cares what it is? You can correct it later. So I would say, how many of you have posted pictures from the conference to your social media? Okay, so the rest of you will today, right? So
That's actually, since I've done that,
yeah.
people hit me up on Facebook the whole time I'm here. Can I get you in my place? Can I get you here?
Yeah.
I didn't do it to do that. I didn't.
Right.
But I was posting. I posted so my mom could see me.
Right, exactly.
And I got clients now.
It's amazing. So one of the things, and the reason, so we're going to talk a little bit about social proof. Actually, I'll just talk about it right now. Social proof is extremely important. Everybody know what social proof is? Somebody describe what social, can somebody, yeah. What's social proof?
Social proof, it's rapport, like society. It's not what you see, what you don't see. That guy looks like he's a nice guy. It's doing stuff. People see me doing a past life regression class here, and a little spiral on it. And now they know I'm the guy with a little spiral that's going to do a past life regression lesson. And I didn't have to tell them that. I didn't have to market it directly as salesy. I'm not a salesy guy.
Yeah.
But I am selling myself by showing myself. And if I hide myself, they don't see me.
Yeah. So the first step in marketing is awareness, just letting them know. And that's so if you're afraid of the social media, and the reason I talk about this is because I teach workshops and stuff, and I have people that tell me, well, I feel uncomfortable doing this. I had somebody one time that tells me, I didn't want my family to know I do hypnosis. And I'm like, well, I don't know how you're going to solve that issue. Pretty tough to teach or to get your name out there and your awareness out there and trying to be undercover with it too. You certainly could have a business name that everything's under a business name, but then you got to do a business page, and it's hard as heck to get a business page getting a lot of people on there. It's really tough, and then you have to pay for ads, or Facebook's not going to show anybody anything anyway. So social proof is really a way to demonstrate that you are the whatever. You are the expert in hypnosis or hypnotherapy or whatever it is that you want to be. And the way we demonstrate that, some of the ways we demonstrate that, being at a conference. I've been talking about how I'm teaching at this conference. You see, people want to go to an expert. They want to go to somebody who's teaching at a conference. If you were going to a doctor and you saw one doctor, well, I can't see you this week because I'm teaching at this conference, or I'm at least going to this conference because I'm learning new stuff, the newest techniques, right? Or somebody that doesn't have that, it's probably going to sway you a little bit. If everything's equal, why not go to the person that's continuing in their education or even teaching the stuff? So every opportunity you get, let the public know. And, one of the things, too, is I know, this, I'm not a salesy guy. I'm not either. And people sort of, when they think about marketing, they get this, icky feeling, right? But if you come from a place of service, I heard Wayne Dyer say this one time. He goes, I wake up every morning and I ask, how may I serve? And so if you ask that question when you're doing your marketing, when you're doing a consultation, I used to be very, when I would do consultations, I was like, oh man, I don't want to ask for the money. I don't want to tell them, I feel bad about even charging people, right? Because I should just be doing this. And as soon as I win the lottery, then I will do it for free, sure. And then I start doing it with that approach. How may I serve? And so then, if I go into it with how may I serve, I don't feel bad about following up with them too. And the follow-up, that's where the money is made, really. That's where you're going to get more clients. If you do a consultation with somebody and they go, I need to think about it, you better follow up with them. You can even ask them, is it okay if I follow up with you if you feel uncomfortable? But I've had a lot of clients, I'm so glad you got back to me. I've been wanting to do this, but it wasn't at the top of their mind at that time. So you got to keep going back to them and saying, hey, whatever. However you want to approach it, there's different ways and methods. I won't go into all those, but definitely you want to follow up with people. And if I know I can help someone, if you know, or you're pretty sure you can help someone, then don't you owe it to them to do everything you can to get them to work with you? And that means creating videos. That means doing the social media marketing. That does all these things. Even using NLP sales techniques to close them if necessary. We all talk, I love the terminology we like to use in our space and in coaching and stuff, and it's, we're going to do a discovery call or a consultation. It's a sales call. That's what it is. If you're, you don't have to feel bad about that. I'm not saying you have to call it a sales call, of course, but that's what it is. We want them to work with us. So use whatever you got to do to get them there. Other ways to get social proof. What are other ways to get social proof? Yeah.
Wear your t-shirt.
Wear your t-shirt. Absolutely. Yeah.
Be seen with others who are doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So go around and get your pictures with, Steve G. Jones and Victoria Gallagher and the big names that people might recognize, right? Steve G. Jones has been on a bunch of TV shows. Yeah. Testimonials, absolutely. Testimonials are the best, really. Reviews, testimonials, that's going to get you business. I get a lot of people that say, I read all your reviews, you must be good. Yep. What else? Writing a book? Take Richard Nongard's class. It's amazing. $300. He makes it so much easier. Yeah.
Appearing in media?
Absolutely. The media is awesome. The media is awesome. Be prepared. If you do the media, be prepared to have some stuff set up so that you'll have an offer and that kind of a thing for people when they want to get a hold of you. I got inundated. When I did my TEDx talk, and then I did a video with a bunch of kids, and I was overwhelmed. I couldn't even get back to all the emails, and I lost many opportunities and probably upset a lot of people for not getting back to them. If I would have hired an assistant, paid them $15 an hour, just, hey, please email these people back for me. I've had hundreds of emails, and I gave up. I gave up on them. So just be ready for it. So what, in other professions, like when I taught massage, you go through a 1,000-hour program, you go take the test, you get your license, you go out and start working on people. Everybody's always nervous at first. Everybody. I was too. We're all nervous at first. And then every 2 years we had to go back and get continuing education. So think about this. Get your certification or your training, whatever it is, it's 100 hours or 200 hours, whatever you do, and then do continuing education, okay? Don't just keep taking trainings and thinking that next training is what's going to finally click for you. Because I hear this a lot of times, if I could just master that element induction, or if I could just learn a new stop smoking protocol. I actually did a call with someone one time. We did a consultation with her, a coaching call. She said, I've got my first smoking client now. And she said, here's the problem. I know 3 stop smoking protocols. I don't know which one to use. I said, pick one. So you don't want to just keep learning new techniques, and you got to get out there and just start doing the work. Did anybody else have any sticking points? We were talking about some sticking points earlier, things that are holding you back. Okay, good. Okay, we got all that. So one of the things too, you may be thinking, well, I'm not perfect yet. so I can't do this. I can't do this work. You know, I'm not, my finances are not in order. I'm overweight. I'm depressed sometimes. I'm having family problems. I'm having, you know, whatever. You still have a lot of issues that you're working on. That's okay. You might actually be you may be better suited to help somebody that's having that same problem, as long as you're working on it. Or that you're fine with it. So like if I've run into, now I don't get this personally, but I've met a few hypnotists, and I think they might also just be kind of deluding themselves. But they say I remember this one guy I met in Phoenix. He was a stage hypnotist. He said, I used to teach these smoking seminars. I'd be out front smoking. People ask me, but you smoke? Because I don't want to quit. You do. That's why you come to me. But the point is you don't have to be like, I'm chubby, but I can still help people lose weight, right? I can still do that. I can still help them. And the thing is, a lot of times people don't want to work with somebody who's perfect because they can't relate to them. I remember I used to listen to this podcast, and this guy, it was about health and stuff, and he said, he did this one time, he said, I decided I was going to do an exercise challenge. Go 30 days, I'm going to exercise every day. And I said, oh my goodness, that sounds like a great goal. I'm going to do that. And then he said, I knew I wouldn't have any problem because I'm a regular exerciser. Wow. Rapport broken right there. I was like, well, this guy's awesome. I'm just me. I'm not a big exerciser. So I couldn't relate to him anymore. I stopped listening to the podcast because of it. And it was a great podcast. I probably should have kept listening, but it was just like this. It was a weird thing. It was just like he just slapped me in the face. And so, people are not going to be, necessarily gravitate towards you because you're perfect, but because they think that you can help them. And especially if you talk about your journey, if you talk about how you used to, the one thing that I like to think of is try to help somebody that's maybe you 10 years ago, or you 5 years ago, 3 years ago. In fact, that can, if you're trying to choose a niche, and I highly recommend it, it makes everything so much easier. And Jason just said something in his class. I love this. What did he say? Be specific to be terrific. That was Jason Lynette. So I'm sure somebody else too, but and I thought that was great. And it took me a long time I kept put out stuff for. Do you have a question or something? Comment? Okay. I'd put out stuff about, and you can still see all these people. You can still work with all these people because they'll still, if you're the stop smoking expert, weight loss people will go, oh, do you also help people lose weight? Sure, come on down. People see my stage show and they go, well, do you help people quit smoking? Of course. So you can still help everybody, but you're just not targeting them. It makes your marketing much easier if you have a certain goal in mind. If you can, and the closer you can get to that specific person, it's a 30-year-old female that's blah 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 blah. The easier your marketing will be, because that was the other problem I had is I was scattered. I got to market this thing and I got to market this thing and everything, and it was so difficult. Yeah.
So in that exercise, it was one of the most powerful things that I did is to create my avatar.
Yeah.
I was resistant, and then boom, one day I was like, my avatar is me.
That's what I came up with. Me 10 years ago was my avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your journey.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier, doesn't it? Yeah, because you know the pain points, right? And whatever you did to get wherever you are. If you I used to work a dead-end job, and now I'm a successful hypnotist, and you can guide people along that journey, then you know the steps, and you can kind of help them. It's going to be different. Everybody's got a different journey, but you can help them. There's a great rule. It's called the one-step rule. Do you know what that is? Who knows what that is when it comes to this kind of work? No, it's just you only have to be one step ahead. And if anyone's ever been a teacher, that's true also. I remember in massage school sometimes, the day before, I'm reading the stuff that I got to be, okay, I'm teaching Chinese medicine tomorrow. Wow, I got to learn Chinese medicine or whatever. And so when your client comes to you, you only got to be one step ahead. If you want to teach a class, you want to do a class like this or something, one step further. That's it. And so you don't have to be up here. You can start down here and work your way up. If you aim for here, it's going to take you much longer, and it's going to be a much more difficult journey. It really is. Much, much more difficult. Another thing, kind of going along with that same thing, is solve your own problems and then sell it. Solve your own problems and sell it. That's basically where this came from. I wanted to, and by the way, I'm Jim Kellner. I don't know if I mentioned that already. I'm Jim Kellner. I wanted to do hypnosis since I was a little kid. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I was always into weird stuff. Was anybody else like that? Probably a lot of us were like, you're reading weird books on all this weird stuff. But I was still a smoker. I smoked. And I was like, well, I can't do hypnosis if I smoke. And then I meet all these hypnotists that are smokers. I'm like, well, I could have. What the hell? You know, and I was still chubby, and my life wasn't perfect, and all these things. Well, I have depression, so I must not, this must not really work that great for me and stuff. And once I just kind of just moved past that, now I'll be honest with you, I got really lucky because I got my training, and then finally I got my training, and I immediately started 10 years later. So immediately. And I was actually hired by a clinic to come in and do it, and it was marvelous. And I wish everybody had this opportunity because it was amazing. Because I didn't have to do any marketing, I didn't have to do any discovery chats with people. It was just I just went in and did hypnosis. And I tell you what, I was working with like 30, 35 clients a week sometimes, and it was exhausting. This kind of work, man, it is tough to work with that many clients in one day. But I got years of experience in that short time just because I was seeing so many clients. And so probably most of you won't have that same experience, but I'm going to help you regardless. Okay? So one of you, what's your name? Kat. So you talked about you just kind of got things going, and then COVID hit, and you were like, well, what do I do now? Did you try online?
I tried, and most people I got no responses from them.
That's
I probably wasn't doing it right, but it just didn't.
Nobody wanted to sign up with you?
Yeah.
Okay. How many people do remote hypnosis? Doing it on Zoom, telephone, that kind of stuff? Awesome, good. Everybody who starts doing remote hypnosis now is so lucky because when I started doing it about 5 years ago, nobody wanted to do online hypnosis. And other hypnotists would tell me, I like to see people in person. I like to shake their hand and watch their idiomotor movements and all this stuff. I do too. But I was traveling a lot and I want to work with clients still and help them. And so it just sort of happened because of that. But then you guys are all lucky because now with COVID, sometimes I get on a call with somebody, I don't even have to tell them, they just go, oh, we'll do this remotely then, right? Is this going to be over Zoom or what? It's so much easier. Now I still get some clients. I just had one the other day, and I just had a client the other day in Arizona, and he wanted to quit smoking. He had read my reviews on Google. If you don't have a Google Local set up, please do that. Write that down. Google Local. It's a great place to collect your reviews. A lot of my even Richard Barker is now using. He said he's using that almost exclusively to collect reviews. It's just because there's so many sites where you can get reviews. Oh, it's nerve-wracking. All these different sites. So I'm just collecting them on Google now. And because Google is Google, you want to get on board with anything Google's doing, I think, right? So get your Google Local set up. But he'd read through my reviews, and he goes, because it's a little confusing for people, because I have offices, technically offices in Phoenix and in Seattle. I gave up my office years ago. I don't have an office anymore. And I have a lot of SEO for Arizona because I lived there for a couple of years and it worked really well. But he said, I'm down in, I think he was in Tucson. He goes, I'll just have to figure out a day I can drive up to Phoenix. And I go, oh, no, we're just going to do it online. And he was hesitant at first. And I've gotten to the point now where, I'll tell him a little bit, but I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. So I have a colleague there. He's in Phoenix. I'll give you his name and number. And I think he's actually cheaper than I am. And he goes, no. He goes, I want to work with you. So I'll have my girlfriend. He was 79 years old, quit smoking. Isn't that awesome? 79. The guy looked like he's in his 50s. The guy's in really great shape too. So he said, no, I'll have my girlfriend help me with the Zoom because I really want to work with you. That's the other importance of getting your reviews. When they see all those reviews and they know that you can help them, that's what they really want. Yeah.
I don't even ask anybody, whether or not I can see them personally. It's always, I just write out my thing and I hand them essentially my card. I don't have a card that I need to carry for my Zoom information. Mm-hmm. And I collect their email because that's how I'm going to send the invite.
Absolutely.
And it's just done. And with COVID now, it's not like I apologize. I don't make any exceptions where I'm just like, yeah, here goes Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And if they go, well, face to face, I'm like, COVID. This is just the way things are. It works just fine.
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks for coming.
absolutely sell it, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll do the best we can. It's like, no, it's just the way things are.
Mm-hmm.
People have been doing it for a long time. We just do it over the phone.
Honestly, you can do it over the phone too. Does anybody do it over the phone? Yeah. It's amazing. I didn't think it would work. I wasn't sure if it would work over video, and then I wasn't sure if it would work over the phone. It does, absolutely. It's talk-based. It's talk-based modality. One of the things that I hear sometimes, because we're going to talk about now about doing some remote stuff. If you need help with the remote part of it, I will send you my remote class. I did a class. I recorded it. And I'll kind of walk through the stuff. Text me. If you text this number, HTL, and your name, I'm going to send you a script template, because I know sometimes people get, I don't know what I'm going to say during a hypnosis session. It's a script template. One thing I ask, if you use my script template, you're welcome to use it with clients one-on-one, but please don't make a recording with it, because that's what I make my recordings with. So it's going to be really weird. You could mix it up a little bit if they start,
So what is HTL?
What's that?
Text HTL.
Yeah, if you text just HTL and your name to this number, sorry, because it's always weird when I just get these texts and I'm like, hey, dude, thanks for coming. And I also send you my Hypnotic Confidence. Honestly, if you all just watched it or made your own, you'd probably do okay. You don't actually, a lot of this other stuff is kind of superfluous if you have that attitude that you can do it. And I also send you the notes from the class. There aren't a whole lot, because most of it's stuff that is feedback that you guys give me about what we need. Actually, I'll just include. I'm going to include that anyway. I'm just going to remind myself, and I'll put. If I forget to send you a link to the remote class, then let me know. I go through the whole process of the Zoom and everything like that. The other thing too is, used to I'd have to go through. Well, do you want to do it on Facebook Messenger, Skype, Zoom, whatever? Now they just know it's going to be Zoom, and Zoom is just so much easier. If you're having any debate, just most likely just use Zoom. Use Scott Sandlin's version of Zoom. What's the name of that, Scott? Do you remember? Oh, Jay. What? I just called you Scott.
It's Cyrano.
What's it?
Cyrano.ai.
Cyrano.ia. I'll put it right here. Cyrano.ai. Go read about it. I'm not going to take up a lot of time talking about it, but it's just something that works with Zoom that can be really helpful in working with your clients. Okay, so there are various platforms. I'm telling you right now, you can use FaceTime, you can use Duo. I've used all of these. Facebook Messenger, Skype, WhatsApp, everything. Once we're through this whole COVID mess, hopefully, once we all, we either die or we go on, you'll go back to seeing clients in person. I know some people are already doing that. I always tell people, even before COVID, if you want to see me in person, there's an extra charge. Because one of the reasons that I have set the prices where they're at is because that's my online price. If I have to see someone in person, that means I've got to go rent an office for the day or borrow a friend's office or something like that. So they just pay extra, and I've had a few people do that. I had one guy who was going to fly his son out from Michigan. I said, no, please, let's do a couple of sessions online first and see if it's not working, then have him fly out. Didn't need to fly out. You talked, I've got to get to this right now because I want to make sure. You had mentioned you're doing these free sessions and stuff. Anybody doing free sessions? Yeah? How's that going? It sucks, okay? This is one of the, and I'm got to tell you guys, and I'm sorry if my language offends you. I get people tell me this all the time. I can't really start charging people because my success rate's not very good. I did some hypnosis sessions for my Aunt Matilda, and she's still smoking. My mom, she's not lost weight and stuff. Listen, you know why? It's because they know you. And especially, they know you before you were a hypnotist. Your success rate is never going to be as good with those people that are close to you as a paid client. Or, I'm going to ask you right now, please never do another free session. Thank you, 10 minutes. Never do another free session. Jay, what do I say to do? Call it? Do you remember? Pro bono. Right? Attorneys don't do free work, they do pro bono work. So it's also the way that you talk about it. Well, I'm doing a free session, this week or something, because I want to get. Oh, and this is the other one that I hate to see. People will get out of their hypnosis, and I'll see something on Facebook. I just completed my training, and I'm doing some free sessions to get some practice. Oh man, no. Hey, I just learned a new technique, and I am really excited to try this one out in conjunction with the stuff I've already done. I want to give back to the community. So I'm offering a couple of pro bono sessions. I've got 10 a.m. on Friday available and 3 p.m. on Saturday. Who wants it? You'll have much more success with something like that. Also, if you need more experience, I know that's part of the problem is you need experience, and so of course you've got to work with friends and family and that kind of a thing. When I taught massage, we had a massage clinic there, and the students we charged, right? People from the public would pay $25, but it was very cheap, but they were paying something. Being paid for a service is going to change your work. It's going to change the way you energetically and just everything about it. It's going to change things. Okay. It's also going to change it for the client. When they're paying money, they're more invested. At this point, I've been doing it long enough that I can help some family members and friends. I try not to. I always try to refer them to somebody else. No, go somebody else. But if I do, like I have a friend I've known for 20-something years, and she lost about 20 pounds in 3 months. But she's the exception. I told her, look, you can't treat me as your friend Jim. You got to treat me as the hypnotist. I'm the expert. And she did. She followed all the directions. She did everything she's supposed to do. But especially when you're first starting out, oh my goodness, it's going to be so tough. And you're going to be like, oh gosh, I don't know I feel awkward. Are they really hypnotized? All these things. Really, if you can get away from it, try and get away from your friends and family as soon as possible. And just know that if you have a bad success rate right now, it's only because of that. It's probably because now you may suck, I don't know, but there's a good chance it's just because you're working with friends and family. If you need more experience, this is what I recommend people do. Because people are always looking for, charity organizations are always looking for help of some sort. You could call up your local VFW and say, hey, are there any veterans there that have some PTSD issues? I want to give back to the community. I'm doing 2 pro bono sessions a month right now. And you can get some pro bono stuff. They're going to be appreciative, and it's going to be actual real clients. Do the documentation, everything. And then, importantly, when you're done, ask them for a review. You got to get a review. Physical locations. One of the things that held me back for years, and I wish I just would have done it, was renting an office. Now, if you're working online, you don't have to worry about this, but I know some people are going to be going in person. If you need a cheap way to do that, you can go to Regis or other part-time office companies. They just rent it by the few hours a week. It's a great way to do it. And Regis is just one of the names that I know. You can if you're working one-on-one with a client, this wouldn't really work. But if you're doing like a remote session and you just don't have a quiet place in your home or something, once libraries are open up, you can go in the library. I've taught classes from their little studio. You have to get one of their study rooms. You don't want to just do it in the middle of the thing. But most libraries have like a little study room or a conference room that they'll give you for nothing, and you just go in there and do your stuff. You could actually rent an office. The other thing too is you could split. If you go to a massage clinic or a chiropractor clinic, naturopath, and just ask them, hey, do you have any? Do you have a room available a couple days a week or something? And some of them will do a split with you, so you don't have to put any money out. So they will split 50-50 or 60-40. You have to work that out. And so there's no outlay of funds to begin with. And also, they're going to refer people to you. So it's a great opportunity, really, to plug yourself in, especially if you're already going to a chiropractor or someone like that. It's a great opportunity. And then I love this one. My friend Dr. Anna Margalina, she's up in Seattle. She actually started seeing clients under a tent. Thank you, 5 minutes. Under a tent. During COVID, which I thought was just a really great, way to just, kind of zig and zag. I love it. Yeah.
I just wanted to add, it's not an option where I live, but one of my instructors lives in LA, and she sees a lot of her clients actually out on the beach.
Oh my!
She works with kids a lot. So
what a great experience too.
And that's just something kind of cool. So just a comment on how creative you can be.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Local library, genealogy rooms, what you talk about.
Oh,
If you research in the genealogy room, you can talk to lots of other people in there. And I do a Akashic record, past life regressions. What's more beautiful than all the genealogy around you? Usually are pictures, and it's better than my hypnosis office and in my mind.
that's awesome.
Already built for me.
That's awesome. And in fact, I'm going to send you all a link, as we're speaking about reviews, I'm going to send you a link, if you text me, to my Google reviews, and I hope that you'll give me a review, a good one, I hope, because it's just that important. It's so important, okay? Get those reviews. We just got like 2 more minutes left, so stand out. You got to do something to stand out. I have so many people that say to me, I've watched all your videos. I got about 300 videos on YouTube. The first ones suck. Some of the current ones suck. They really do. They're awful. Go back. If you don't believe me, go back and look at my first few videos especially. They're awful. You got to start somewhere, right? You got to send that torpedo out. You're going to bump and you're going to bump and you'll finally upgrade your equipment. You know, try to make it pleasing to the eye. You don't want to, I hate really these ugly backgrounds type stuff when, so at least have something pleasant in the background or something neutral. Write blogs, start a podcast. Jason Lynette just taught a class on podcasts. You know, go learn how to do a podcast. Remember, you don't have to be the best. People will gravitate to you for you. You don't have to be anything that you're not. And then finally, use this hypnosis process that I give you, or create your own. Use a future pace. Use a future pace NLP technique integrated with hypnosis, so that you can use the stuff. Use the hypnosis. And when you think about marketing, let me ask you this. What's your favorite restaurant? Somebody shout them out. Favorite restaurant? Anybody? Baja Fresh. Anybody else? Who's got a favorite restaurant? Nobody?
Brent Lemon.
What's that?
Brent Lemon.
Brent Lemon? Frenchies? Okay. Nick's? Clyde's? Weird. Nobody ever mentions McDonald's. Nobody ever mentions Burger King. Yet they're the most profitable restaurants in the world, right? Why? Why are they so profitable? What's that? They stand out. They're on every corner. They're advertising all the time. Now, they do have a consistent product, so that's important. But aside from being consistent, quick, and cheap, there's so many other better restaurants, but they're more profitable. So that's the whole idea of that is just you've got to be out there. You've got to get your name out there, your business name out there, or you're just not going to be successful. Okay? And as we were speaking about some stuff, I'm going to do a Facebook Live right now. And if you don't want to be on camera, then please just turn away. And we're going to, hello, we're here at Hypnothoughts Live. And is everybody here in class? Say hi. Hi. Awesome. We've got a whole classroom of hypno badasses, right?
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Did you learn a lot?
Yes.
Awesome. So here we are at Hypnothoughts Live. Everybody's having a great time. They're learning lots of stuff. Great class today. I hope you'll join us next year at Hypnothoughts Live. Take care. Be well. Be awesome. You're supposed to clap while the camera was on. Do you see how easy that was? Do you see how easy that was? Go out and do a Facebook Live. Walk down the hall and say, oh, there's Richard Nongard. There's Jason Lynette over there at the Hypnothoughts. I mean, get people knowing that what you're doing, and you'll be a lot more successful. You're going to start getting messages in your inbox, and people are going to be, hey, how much do you charge? And all these kind of things, okay? If I can help you in any way, I do consults for a charge, but if you just want to chat about some stuff, you have some questions, feel free to call or text me. I'm not going to take your credit card number unless you want a full session. All right? Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you coming.